The Sisters of Social Service were founded in Los Angeles about 100 years ago, but I think 1926 is whenever they founded it in L.A. It's now here. This is the international headquarters of very robust, what has been a very robust community around the world, various locations. It's a, we're going to do something here, it looks like, in the spring. It's still tentative, but with Supervisor Horvath, and this is part of her district, on women and radical commitment here. She's very interested in the theme, and these sisters especially point in that direction with the commitments that they've made. There was a community, may still be a community in Budapest, Hungary, but it was certainly a vibrant community there up through the Second World War. But then during the war, right before the war, and most of the sisters, I think, left. And some stayed in order to deal with the problems that they knew would be coming on. And the one who stayed, who headed their house there, was very, as you'd imagine, pretty feisty. And and it was the temperament that was certainly needed. They wound up in their house there, sheltering more than 1,000 Jewish children, all of whom were saved. They got them out. But then the housekeeper turned them in to what was the Gestapo in Hungary. And so they took the head sister and 2 or 3 others down to the river and shot them. But they had saved all these children. And then the Gestapo, I think it's called the Iron Cross or something in Hungary, but through the diversion tactics, they kept them from getting into the house and actually finding children who were hiding in the house at that time. So that's the kind of, it's just an extraordinary story of this idea of radical commitment. Then in the, probably 20 years ago or so, they founded Nuns on the Bus, which had these big buses emblazoned with nuns on the bus, and they went around the country holding town meetings and what have you about social justice issues, especially focused on women and children. And that was another kind of instance of this radical commitment theme. And then now, as they're all aging out and women are not becoming sisters in the same way that they did, so they have to think, okay, what's next? And of course, with Pope Francis and his emphasis on integral ecology in his encyclical Laudato Si, which was unique for being an encyclical to the world, not just to the church, as all other encyclicals of that time had been to the church and the world. And so with Laudato Si, he was talking about this, the integral relationship between the human community and all other communities of communities of communities that are out there. Other plants and other animals, along with us and everything else that is. And so that's such a radically different orientation that the sisters that have been very interested in seeing if this place could have that as part of its identity, both to exhibit that kind of idea of integral ecology, to see that from their perspective. Now, they're very pluralistic, profoundly so, and so in their orientation. But nonetheless, this kind of thing from them grows out of a contemplative experience. So it's not at all in odds with it. It's the contemplation is fueling that kind of view of integral ecology. And then from the county's perspective, integral ecology could be a very good name for the LA County Sustainability Plan, except that's called our county. LA has a different name. Or you could think of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or on and on and on. All of these nest within each other and co-reference one another. So, anyway, part of the vision here, part of it is helping the sisters figure out what their vision is here. That's kind of part of it. Part is seeing how to implement ideas of sustainability, a deep sustainability on campus here. Part is to see the campus being used as a site for project acceleration. Now, Pando has all these projects being launched around through our programs. Some have already used this site, as a place where they could come and do some things. We had an asphalt project one time dealing with the heat island effect. And so there's a section of the driveway that was used for experimentation purposes, about mitigating the heat island effect. So it can be used in that way. It can be used as an educational campus. But also they have a retreat facility here. It's called the Holy Spirit Retreat Center. And it is, its potential has been underutilized. And yet they can accommodate almost 50 people in theory. And they think, and we would think too, that with the right kind of framing and the right application of some of these opportunities, it could be a very vibrant place and remain full. So this is a place where financial sustainability that also plays in. And and there's the opportunity even to, sisters are open to any number of things, including renaming. And from the Holy Spirit Retreat Center, which sisters see Holy Spirit as in very profoundly pluralistic terms, yeah. But on the other hand, it can be off-putting to something, and not know what you're driving into. Yeah. And so they're even open to renaming something that maybe could be more. So, with UCLA, the extension program, landscape architecture, they were doing some thinking about reimagining this place from a landscape standpoint, and even thinking about reversing the way you get into it. When you exit, you'll see it's a beautiful exit, kind of down through all this. But you come in kind of past buildings, and it's a little hard to navigate, all that kind of stuff. And they're saying, well, one thing to do is just reverse the traffic. So you come in and you enter in a beautiful space or something, and then you kind of come around to the building. Kind of all of those ideas would be on the table. But the sisters, they need help in imagining all of that, because most of them are very old, and there's just simply not the energy, and they can't afford to just hire the kind of professional teams that you would need. So this then, the campus for Pando, it's a place where we have our office, and then it is a place that we can use for meetings, and we could, even if we had retreats or something, you could put people up here or something like that. There's that kind of potential. Projects can use this space. We had some fellows here over the summer, interns that were at work here over the summer, various things that came from the West, the Lake Community College. And but then there's a bigger kind of grander opportunity here. And so that's what kind of we're all feeling our way into. Right now, there are a number of schools that have projects out here. So this is the other thing you say, that you all do, UCLA does, like Trade Tech does, really interesting opportunities for this site being a really interesting intercollegiate opportunity of figuring out what can be done from all points of specialty, So that's really extremely exciting. So that's the general overview.
Pando.
Oh, yeah. So the Pando's organization I founded, like I say, with this professor of mine, and we really wanted to focus on getting great ideas out of the classroom, like I said, into the real world. So we started off working at the higher ed level, and now, like I say, there are about 30 colleges and universities that have worked with the program, and then we showcase the best of those at the Pando Awards that book's about, and that's at Caltech every year. It just happened. Then we also have a K-12 program, and but it's not as robust as the other. We're just still kind of developing it. It's a small organization. We have a small budget, but we do a lot because we're leveraging opportunities just like we are with CSUN and you, and all of you all. And so we tend to identify opportunities, bring people together. Like I say, we knew of the sisters when we were working with them, knew of schools, let's say, or classes that maybe needed a place to where they could do their project, or etc. And so we're constantly networking people together. We work extremely closely with the county, with a lot of the various cities, a lot of specialists in any of the areas, and sometimes we were able to find money. We don't find as much money as we need or those projects need, but nonetheless, we're always on the lookout. We try to connect people with those who do.
And who was the owner of the place before the farmers that you said that they owned an orange orchard here?
Yeah, so you came up Havenhurst, and Hay was the family name.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And
their house is over here. We'll pass it. Yeah.
So they still are around here, or?
Yeah, they just gave it up.
Oh, okay.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
It was the Hearst family. It's a different family.
Well, it's Havenhurst but a different spelling. Yeah. So, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, different. Probably not like Patty Hearst, because that's Hearst, and this one's Hurst. So not the Hearst merchant. I was like, that. Yeah, Hearst. Northern California. Lindy?
Probably one of them would have loved to have married into that.
So I think, going back to that original question you asked, could it be a Pando project? I do believe it can. So I don't want to say no. I just wanted to clarify they're not students. Pam says they're not. I feel like we could definitely get some stuff going to involve CSUN students. I feel like we could definitely get some stuff going from our institute's focus is on education and outreach. And since we're highlighting the wildfire resilience, if there's something we could do on this property in collaboration with Cherokee's people to guide us, we'd love to do it. And we're very good at the education part. But if there's things here if there's ways to make it safer here, we'd love to explore that. And that's where you would come in as an expert, because I don't know that, but I know people and I know how to educate. And these folks would be some muscle and idea people to do it. Pam, again, I'm guiding her on telling the story, which I think you tell a good story can have a huge impact, right? So it's an interdisciplinary collaboration. That's what's bringing us together.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Could I ask you a little bit more about your K-12 program?
Yeah.
Describe it a little.
Yeah. So, essentially what it is, so this book in here, this is describing the project for the higher ed program. And for K-12, it's essentially the same program, but just adjusted for middle schools and then for high schools. So what we try to do here is classes, teams of young people have a studio or a lab or a classroom or something. They come up with an idea for a project that they think could help further help meet the LA County sustainability goals. Okay. And then they come up with a real world project that could really be implemented and actually be given a street address and truly get launched. So it's different than it's project-based learning, but different than that, because most project-based learning you assume is just going to stay as a conceptual project in the classroom. But this is the expectation is that you're really going to implement something that then can have legs. And 80% of the projects this last year actually really were in position to do that. And so we took that down, and for K-12 or for middle schools, it was in collaboration with LADWP. And so it was focused specifically on water and power. And then some of the kids' projects were just absolutely wonderful. And, projects tend to be very entrepreneurial. I mean, another thing that we teach are entrepreneurial skills, because it's... because that, by definition, is if you're going to get something launched, you have to learn how to be an entrepreneur and get it done, And there are all these wonderful little, people are making purses to sell out of jeans and all.
When you have these projects and they're presenting them, do you notice differences in how they communicate and how they understand and comprehend at the K-12 level as opposed to the collegiate level? In terms of actually effective communications at that age.
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah. It's an extremely good question. And I can't give you an extremely good answer.
I'll tell you why I'm asking that question.
Yes.
Because these two, one of their projects with Conservation Concierges is to develop a K-12 wildfire risk reduction education program, right? The Conservation Concierges.
Cool.
But not the one I have origin. I've had some experience with communication, and it occurred to me that that might be an opportunity to learn how well these kids communicate. Because they're going to communicate so other kids understand it.
Yeah, and their parents.
But I'm saying that if we're trying to present something to them, I'd like to see how they're successful.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So that we could be successful at communicating with it.
I was that educator. I did music education. Yes, there is actually because of COVID, there's a 2 to 3 year reading and comprehension gap at the moment. And that is something that is currently. So I'm assuming you could, like teachers bring up, like, right now it's a lot of on-hand stuff for children just because their teachers are trying to catch up to them. So that is one big factor.
So that's a good aspect of it. But I was thinking more of almost a cultural difference. Because kids are a different culture than adults.
No, they are. You're right. We just made a fire current event at our school, and we had to market it differently.
Yes.
To what we know, the pop culture things that high schoolers are into. And I kept asking this very same question. Are high schoolers different than college? And everyone's like, yes, they are. They're into it. You got to communicate message to them differently. So, yes, the answer is yes.
I'm aware of some of this stuff. I ran a marketing consulting company for about 3 years. I came into it with an engineering background, so I didn't know much at all coming in, but before the operations side. But I picked up a lot, and not that I'm not an expert yet, but I know that there are issues here that you saw.
Yeah.
And they had kids out here in the summer in the pond. You'll see that they were out there boating in the pond. This place is great for education.
Yeah.
So Cherokee saw that possibility too when she was out here. I think there were even kids out here the day she came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I have seen with kids attending this content is that I personally find it enormously fun. Let's say, to work with middle school kids in this country, because they're all over it. They get fast and just, and then have ideas. You tell them, dream up some ideas. Don't worry how it can't be done or whatever. Just come up with ideas. One of my daughter's classes last year for her third grade, she's in last year, and we saved up a whole bunch of trash. and put it in bags, and then brought it to her class, talked about whatever, and dumped all the trash into the river, and said, now, you have 20 minutes or so, take this and create something amazing and, fantastic that can, achieve X, Y, and Z. And boy, they were all just holding back until then they just leaped on it and he created stuff. It was really so fun just to see, so there's that kind of thing. Whereas we do a brainstorming blitz, which we'll do in the spring at the collegiate level, and that's also fun, but you have to coach more to get people to really let go and come to that level of innovation, So that was fun, but that's just more of an ad hoc, observation.
That's interesting. The difference between the two you just described, because the problem is kids don't know they're being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Whereas you get a little older, you get, I can't open that up.
Right.
I can't tell.
That's the problem you have with creativity.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. So we're really eager to get the K-12 program going. Work on it a lot this year.
Be a great collaboration. So, Eugene, we got a lot of expertise around the table. Is there anything you want to tell us, or you want to walk us around and see what?
Yeah, well, maybe we do get up and walk down a little bit. You feel like it, and then we can just take